Alright, so where we left off, I had the Les Paul and my band Zen had just broken up, but I was still thinking I wanted to go make another band, and I had been listening to Little Feat's Waiting for Columbus cassette, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. And I was also thinking I wanted to buy another Gibson Les Paul. So I went to a guitar store and looked at one that I liked and asked them how much would this be, and they said $1,200. I said, what? Are you serious? And they said, yeah, $1,200. And I had bought one for less than $800, brand new, 5 years earlier. Now they wanted $1,200, just 5 years later. So I said, forget that. And where I was doing an internship in school, a guy in the mailroom who was big into music, he said, be different, get a Tele. And I had never considered the Fender Telecaster before, really. But I started thinking about it, and I thought, well, it is kind of Les Paul-like, because you got your single cutaway and your two pickups. And so I thought, well, maybe I ought to look into that. So I went to this store that mostly sold and still sells second-hand guitars, and I saw this thing hanging up on the wall. And I thought, man, I like the looks of that, and I picked it up. It was $120. And now notice, this actually, it's not a Fender. I don't know what it is. There's no name on this headstock, but it looked right, so I thought $120. So I bought this, and immediately, 5 seconds later, thought, I've just made a big mistake. Why did I do this? And so this thing actually just sat in a chair for about 15 years or longer, about 15, 17 years. Sat in a chair, gathering dust, until about 2005, I believe it was. After the internet and everything, I started learning about guitars, and I realized this thing might be worth fixing up. And I took it to a local music store, showed it to a guy. I said, would it be worth doing something with this? And he took one look, 2 seconds, and said, there's nothing wrong with that guitar. So I got a couple of Seymour Duncan 52 pickups to go in here, and I couldn't believe when I got these put in. I sat down, plugged it in at the store where I got them put in, and I just about fell on the floor, because this sounds just like the guitars, the Fender 52 reissues that they charge you about $1,200 or $1,300 these days to buy. So I was thrilled I got this. This turned out to be a great guitar, especially for the $120 it cost me up front. Probably still have less than 350 in it. And I mean, it's just great. This neck, I mean, I love this neck. If I had my own signature guitar ever made, the neck would be like this. It's got a graphite nut here. These tuners are DiMarzio tuners. I didn't even know they ever made tuners, but these are DiMarzios. I like them black, different than the regular actual Fender style. I was confused by this, the truss rod sticking out of the neck. I thought, oh, it means something's messed up, but then the guy at the music store said no. He said in the 70s Fender, that's called the bullet truss rod. A lot of guitars had that in the 70s. The guy who put the pickups in at the guitar store, he said his guess was that this was late 70s, early 80s Hohner, is his guess, which is the same company that made Prince's guitar, of course. But so anyhow, and I also got the Fender 3-ply pickguard, because I thought that looked a little nicer with the little white trim around there. And that's it. It came with this, a 6-saddle bridge. Very nice. And I had to do my own refinishing job, because whoever had this, it had finish all around except on the top it was bare wood. And I thought, well, that'll be easy to do. And that's where I found out, no, that's not easy to do. I went and got polyurethane, sprayed it, wiped it on, and then it would dry, and it would suddenly look like crud, so I'd have to peel it off again. And they say you're supposed to sand before you put the polyurethane on. Well, I did the sanding, got it nice and smooth. You put the polyurethane on, give it 6 hours, come back and look. All your sanding scratches are obvious. Oh boy, that was hard. And if you really get a good look at this in person, you'll see my various finish mistakes. But, you know, doesn't matter. You can get away with it on a Telecaster. And so that's my no-name Telecaster. But I just love it.